Hello, this is Christopher Mesa, and I'm here with
Matthew Samuel, bringing you an interview with Mr. Ponsford.
and we're going to be here talking about how Mr. Ponsford first started his teaching career and how he wanted to become a teacher.
I actually decided very early. I think I was probably in middle school. Of course, that time it was called junior high school, but I was really lucky. I had some really inspiring teachers, and I kind of thought, gee, this seems like it's a pretty cool thing. So, and I never really deflected from that. So that was really my goal going through high school, my goal through college, and I really have not regretted it one bit. So, yeah.
As we can see, Mr. Ponsford doesn't take his education for granted. He then tells us how he changed from school to school and how he eventually ended up here in La Jolla.
I started teaching at a junior high school called O'Farrell Junior High School, which is a feeder school to Morse. I taught there in PE, and mostly history, but I had a couple PE classes also. And I taught there for 2 years. And I really wanted to get into coaching football. I had been coaching football the last 2 years of my college, and the year I did my student teaching, I was coaching football and in high school. And I continued that when I was at O'Farrell, even though it was a little tough sometimes getting to practice, because sometimes I had teacher meetings and all I had to stick around for. But so I really wanted to get into high school, and I had done it for a while, and I happened to know that there was a job that was open at Hoover. One of the coaches retired, and very conveniently, I happened to have a friend who had a friend, and so the guy called me up and said, I'm looking for a football coach, and I know you're teaching in the district. And I said, I'm looking forward to being a football coach. So somehow they arranged it for a history position at Hoover High School. I transferred there, taught at Hoover for 3 years.
Mr. Ponsford now addresses us why he chose the subject of history.
Probably because it was the only subject I was good in. I was pretty good in PE, but history was always something I was kind of interested in. I think it goes back to my grandfather. My grandfather was the father figure in my life, as my dad had died when I was 4. So he was one that took me out and on hikes all the time, which I still love to do, and he's the one that got me interested in camping and backpacking, and he also was the one that got me interested in history. He was an avid reader and just had impeccable penmanship, and he had an 8th grade education, and he's really one of the better, more well-read men that I've ever come into contact with, and he was the one that kind of pushed me towards history just because that's what he read.
Mr. Ponsford's father was a huge inspiration to him and was always viewed as a high role model. That said, Mr. Ponsford tells us about his morals that he follows through his life.
I would venture, to me, is that, you have to find somebody to love and share your time with, and that to me is the greatest thing I ever did was meet my wife and fall in love with her, and it wasn't a lot of work to do that. It just seemed to come natural, but she really is the best thing for me ever, and still is. So I don't know if that's a quote or anything, but find somebody to share it with, somebody to love.
As we can see, Mr. Ponsford's wife was a huge inspiration for him. Then we asked him what his most memorable experiences from La Jolla High School.
I was going to say, the most interesting experience I've ever had was flying with the Blue Angels. And that actually came out of my teaching career because it was an ex-student who was in the Navy and a pilot, and somehow arranged for me to be on the list to do that. So that was probably the most interesting thing in my teaching career. I really have a hard time picking one thing, but it's just, I think at the end of the year, maybe I do. Probably the most interesting thing is when you see, I work with 11th graders now for most of my career, and when you see the kids go off, when they come back and say hi, that really means a lot, I think, to every teacher I would say that to me is the most interesting thing, is to see how they're doing, to see what they're doing. And actually one of the nice things that the alumni, with me retiring, the Alumni Association sent out an email to the football players that have played during my tenure at La Jolla High School, and I've been getting emails and just, from guys, and just now they're, they've got families, and, just saying hi and congratulations, and, I'm doing well, and the lessons I learned, helped me, thank you. That's probably the very best part. I mean, I'm kind of experiencing that high right now. Just periodically they'll pop an email up and I'll look at it, and it's kind of neat.
Thank you for listening on our interview on Mr. Ponsford. This is Christopher Mesa and
Matthew Samuel, seniors from La Jolla High School, and have a great day.